Stimulus checks are rolling out. How will you spend yours? Hi, Dave here from Informed American. That's the question that we posed to all of you. We got a number of responses. Also put up a poll on our Facebook page at facebook.com/theinformedamerican. Also, a number of you wrote in to info@informedamerican.com. And of course, you can always write to me. Those responses come right to my inbox. So if there's always something interesting, if you have an opinion on some of the things I've been discussing, or some story you're seeing out there that you think I need to address in a video, please be sure to write to me. That's info@informedamerican.com. Now, as we mentioned yesterday in the immigration video, there are nearly 20 million unemployed Americans still. Now, the numbers dipped this week to about 18 million. And to be fair to the stimulus package, one of the provisions there was to increase or to maintain federal unemployment assistance. I believe it's an additional $300 a week. So that is certainly good, I think, in terms of helping out people that are unemployed. And of course, the question I asked yesterday was, with all of these millions of people still unemployed, still knocked out of their jobs because of the lockdowns, why do we need to, why are we encouraging thousands of people to come across the border and ostensibly potentially seek employment when we have all these millions of Americans unemployed? But that was a topic yesterday, so I'd encourage you to go check that out if you missed it. So we asked you all how you plan on spending your money. And there's an interesting polling data that came out. There's a story here on Yahoo Finance that says $1,400 stimulus checks arrive in millions of American bank accounts. A lot of the money is likely to stay there for a while. A Yahoo Finance Harris poll finds that 62% of Americans say they need more money to help pay for necessities, but only 41% expect to actually spend the money that way. The same set of respondents say that they only spent 43% of the money that they got in the prior two rounds of stimulus. So a lot of that money is sitting in the bank. And as I'm going to get to in a second, this is actually not what the government wants you to do. They want you to go out and spend. But many of you are like, wait a minute, I'm getting a little bit of extra cash that I normally didn't have. Maybe I can treat this sort of like a bonus that I get at my work, and I can use it to pay for maybe some other things, maybe some outstanding bills. Here's the polling here. The results of this poll: 41% say spend it on necessities, 40% say to save it, 36% say they're going to pay down debt. Non-essentials 16%, so I guess you consider that luxury goods or just maybe household items, something like that. Interesting here, 12% say to help friends and family. You'll like to see that. And then 10% say they're going to invest in maybe stocks. I guess we would assume here cryptocurrency 7%, and that always fun other 4%. Now, I'll answer my own question. What we did with the prior two, we paid down a little bit of bills. This next round, I think, is going to largely go into the bank, but I might spend a little bit of it on some home improvement products. I have a glass shower door that one of the doors is broken and the frame is disintegrating, so I think it may be time to pull the trigger on that, and I'll have myself a miserable, expensive weekend coming up here in a bit, so I'm not particularly looking forward to that, but some home improvement stuff, I think that's not a bad way to spend some money. Always improving your home whenever you want to turn around and sell it could help you in the other way. Plus, it just makes your life easier. So that's sort of my answer. Now, interesting here, a story here from Informed American that I mentioned just a second ago. The government wants us to spend stimulus checks, but Americans want to pay down debt, and that is being borne out in the polling. And it says those spending priorities are not what massive stimulus bills are traditionally meant for, which is, of course, paying down debt, maybe paying a tax bill. If you're a business owner, or if you have a large tax liability, you may just use that cash to send it right back to the government. So the government sends you a check, and then you send it right back. Great. But as it mentions here in this Informed American article, they are designed, large stimulus bills, they are designed to encourage people to buy goods and services and to help U.S. businesses create jobs. As it notes here that spending on goods was robust in January, but it was mostly for people who didn't necessarily need the stimulus checks. And the most who desperately need it have used it for food, shelter, and to pay down debt. See, the idea here as an economic stimulus is that you get the cash and you run out right away and you go buy a TV, you go buy a couch, you go buy a dining set or something like that, you buy a refrigerator, something like that to boost retail sales, which will, in theory, will help the bottom line of corporations, which could help them in turn hire back maybe some of those 18 million workers. But as we're seeing, that's not necessarily going to happen. A lot of people are just going to say, hey, here's $1,400 for me, maybe $2,400 for a couple, or even more if you have kids. We're going to put this away. We're going to pay down maybe some student loans or maybe make an extra payment on our mortgage. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that sort of maybe gets to the heart of the issue of whether or not this was worth it. Well, it may not have its intended effects, but people will help their own personal financial situation, which I do think is a great thing. Now, as I mentioned, we did ask you all on our Facebook page rather. And look at this, the poll is evenly split, 50-50. So half of you say you're going to spend, and half of you say you're going to sock it away. And we got a number of comments here, spending on a house payment. One person says they're going to donate it to their local charity. So that's very, very nice. Pay down credit card debt, saving, reducing debt, a little bit of both, catch up on some bills. And that really does seem to be the general sentiment from all of you. And we also, some of you wrote into informedamerican.com. Got a couple of really good ones here. This one came from, I'm not going to pull this one up, but just going to read from Eric. We received the last stimulus check bringing a total to $6,400. That's a lot of money. It says both sides of the aisle are beyond stupid. Like many, we are retired and our income hasn't dropped a single penny. This money should only go to people truly affected. So Eric sort of like, well, I'll take it, but we didn't necessarily need it. It says, yes, money going to non-citizens and prisoners, which is something we covered here. Yes, illegal immigrants and prisoners and potentially even the Boston bombers may be getting a stimulus check. I don't think they need it. That leaves, and as it says here, once you cut that out, that leaves only $1,729 billion for the a-holes in Washington. And we got a funny one here from Manny. He says, it's none of your goddamn business. All right, Manny, sorry we asked. But this last one here I'm going to read from the email is info at informedamerican.com. It'd be nice if the retired seniors would be taken into consideration. With the high cost of food, medications, personal use, necessities, gas prices going up, yep, certainly have, and the everyday monthly expenses like utilities, it is clear that stimulus checks will only serve to alleviate some of the cost for a month or maybe two. I have a question. Why is it that they're giving all these monies to states, unions, and others instead of dividing those funds and distribute it to the taxpayers? Do you know how much can be done by the individual taxpayer, like paying off mortgages, bills, cars, student loans, hospital bills, co-pays, medication? That would be a real help and would eliminate a lot of stress. The Biden administration is spending money like as if there's no tomorrow. I wish the American people would wise up and realize what's being done is not in the best interest of the people. So the question is, and I love that comment. That was from Denora. Thank you so much, Denora. That was brilliant. So you get a gold star today for that comment, because it does get your mind sort of churning a little bit about all this money being spent. Where is it actually going? Now, the government is not going to be happy with many of you that you're going to simply be paying down bills. No, they want you to go out there, buy a car, go out there, as I said, buy a TV or a refrigerator or something like that for retail sales. But a lot of you look, I got bills, I got debt. The cost of living has been going up and up and up, and maybe my income has been the same, particularly if you're retired, something like that. And I feel like I'm in a better financial position than I was before, and I'm going to help myself in this case. The government wants you to go out there and spend it, and you say no. So then you may conclude, well, did we even need this anymore? What do I need this extra cash for? We heard from, I believe it was Eric, who says, look, I'm retired, I'm fine. We got $6,400. I didn't even need this cash. But hey, I'll take it if you're giving it away. Now, there are others who say, this might be a bit of a cynical opinion, but one I'm not unsympathetic to, which is, hey, government, you're spending, $3-4 trillion a year. I noticed you spent $700 billion. You sent that money to the defense industry to do God knows what. We can't seem to figure out what the heck is going on in Afghanistan or Iraq. Everything you do seemingly fails. You got plenty of money for defense contractors. How about you send a little bit to me? I see you spending those trillions of dollars, and I don't see my life improving one bit. If anything, my position has maybe gotten worse. And all the garbage going on in Washington, yeah, just give me the money. And that goes back to Denora's comment. There was an estimate there that, I don't know the exact figure, but if you basically divide all the stimulus by the number of households in America, there was somewhere around, somewhere around $40,000 per household. Let's take Denora's argument, where instead of sending it to city and local governments, to pension funds, to unions, and to all, or however else the cash got distributed, what if you just sent every American household, whatever you pass, you divide it up and send it to Americans? Now, that would be an interesting concept, wouldn't it? And it's getting to the point where people are like, yeah, just send me the money. Because I don't trust you in Washington. You do hear, I think there is a conservative argument that people can do best, make the best decisions for themselves what to do with the money. And I tend to agree with that, because it all just ends up going nowhere. It goes in someone's pocket, but it doesn't do anything productive. And I think most of you would agree with that. So I want to know also, if you didn't get a chance to respond in the poll, or if you didn't write in, please write in. Let me know. You can just comment right down below here in the comment section. Let me know how you're planning on spending your stimulus cash. As I said, we're going to save most of it, but I do have that shower door I need to buy and replace one of my bathrooms, and I think that's going to be it. But doesn't this speak? You say, well, they didn't need it, but in a lot of ways, look, if you have a mortgage, if you have credit card debt, student loans, things like that, then I think we're starting to see that a lot of people, their financial position prior to the stimulus wasn't that great. And a lot of, $1,400 is a lot of money to a lot of people. Maybe not for the rich, but that's a nice hunk of cash, and it can make a difference. That can, for many people, that's a house payment. Or that can pay down a number of months of utility bills. And a lot of particularly the middle class, and as I say here, I'm a middle class advocate. The middle class is not in a great position and has been in a downsloping position for decades. So maybe we did need this money after all. So what if we don't go out and buy a TV? Because that's what the government wants you to do. So what? Maybe the fact that we've seen outsourcing for decades. Maybe the fact that people have seen their wages decline. Maybe the fact that people have seen their cost of living only rise, making their financial position even worse. The house prices have exploded. Taxes are always going up. And yeah, maybe we can get a little piece of the pie too. Not to go out and frivolously spend, but to get ourselves in a better financial position than we were in before. Because after all, we know Washington, they can't do a damn thing. They're just going to blow all that cash or send it, yes, to the unions or whatever, bailing out city and state governments. Florida here, Florida's not in nearly in a terrible a position because we didn't force everyone to shut everything down. Businesses, to a large extent, were, other than basically a 6 to 8 week period, businesses have been open basically since May. And yeah, when businesses run, they pay taxes, and those go to the city and local governments and the state government. Not like being locked down for 6 months. You did it to yourself in a lot of ways. But the federal government is there to bail it out. What about a bailout for us? We've been screwed over for how many years and decades? So yeah, we'll take a little bit. I'll take a little bit of the piece of the pie. So I'd love to know what you think about all that. Do you agree with me here that maybe it's about time regular Americans got just a little bit off of this system that seems to be leeching off of us? Go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Well, I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you're here on InformedAmerican.com and you haven't signed up for our free daily email newsletter, I would encourage you to do so. You can join 250,000 subscribers. You can get stories like this, great videos like this in your inbox every day. I also want to mention before we get out of here, we've had a special offer here from Curcumin 2000. If as lockdowns are ending and you're getting back out into the world, if you're concerned about your immunity, maybe I just haven't been in contact with a lot of people, and I might be concerned if my immune system isn't as strong as maybe it should be. That could be a very useful offer for you. So I'm going to put a link down below for you. If you're watching this video here on Informed American, please comment down below. If you're watching on Facebook, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends. And if you happen to be catching us on YouTube, we'd love it if you would subscribe to our channel. Also hit the thumbs up button. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you tomorrow on an episode with our editor of Informed American, Rodney Johnson, for Get Informed America. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.